Hey everybody, today I'm going to make one of the rudest, most controversial videos I've ever made. Cheers. Now, what am I holding? A saucer. What is this? It's a flying saucer. I'm not making it very well. Right? Saucers. Concave bits of crockery. Ideal in Britain for a nice cup of tea. But flying saucers need debunking, whatever that is. So today, join me on an incredibly rude journey into the real history of flying saucers. So one person who actually knows what a saucer is Dorothy, of course, because we live here in France, and Dorothy is going to tell you all about the derivation of the word saucer. Take it away. Hi, Dorothy.
Hi. So I like to use this Merriam-Webster app, and I like to look at it because the word of today is obstreperous. So we just look up saucer, and comes with two definitions. A small shallow dish in which a cup is set at table. I think we know what that is. But that's interesting because it was first used in 1693 and comes from the word sauce, Middle English, where you'd put sauce in a little container, a little plate. So that's why it had a saucer shape. And two, something resembling a saucer, especially in shape. Various unidentified flying objects, usually described as saucer-shaped or disc-shaped. First known use, 1947.
So excuse the crockery noise. Oh, they're loud. So it all started in June 1947, where Kenneth Arnold saw things skipping like a stone hopping across water while he was flying in his light aircraft round the very seismic Mount Rainier in Washington State, the United States. No doubt what he saw was an anomalous aerial phenomenon. Fantastic. UAPs are real. UAPs exist. But when Kenneth Arnold landed and spilt the beans to a local Washington State newspaper reporter of a newspaper with banner headlines, he told the reporter in great detail how these multiple UAP craft seemed to skip over the air like a stone too long for the newspaper headline that was reduced to 2 words on a 100-point banner headline: flying saucer? Arnold never used the word saucer. Maybe a stone that skipped across the water, but saucer? Where did saucer come from? Anywho, flying saucers stuck in the cultural geist, whatever that word is, of American culture. People started seeing aluminum craft, saucers joined together, flying over their farm field all over the US. Flying effing saucers. Duh. But what happened next was this. 1950 Mike Conrad classic film, The Flying Saucer. Here's a clip from the trailer. As you can clearly see, there is a silvery aluminum riveted craft that can zoom around the sky, and it seems kind of saucer shaped. It was actually Hollywood's first attempt at making a flying thingy bobby for the movies. It later evolved in the prop masters department to look more like this. So flying saucers were born in the prop department where they made them for movies. They don't exist outside of the United States of America. Only a few miles away, here in Europe, or specifically in the United Kingdom, lots of people saw lights in the sky. But nobody saw a flying saucer unless it was chucked away at tea time. So what's going on, Simon? Well, you can press dislike now, or you can stay tuned and I'll tell you. It's a classic case of cultural bias, where the whole of the United States was obsessed with a prop master's design for an aluminum riveted flying couple of saucers, because it was quite easy to make for the film industry. In Britain, thousands of reports of genuine UAPs are real sightings were lights in the sky, which got reported to the MOD and were taken seriously. Nobody saw solid craft. Well, a few people might have misinterpreted lights in the sky as a solid craft, basing it on what they'd seen at the movies. But to be serious, what we were seeing in Europe, specifically in the UK, was unknown anomalous phenomenon. UAP, we always have. We've never seen flying effing saucers. So just a wee hop and a skip and a jump from America, we Europeans took UAP seriously and started investigating what the wee lights in the sky might be. What the wee lights in the sky really are.
Johnson and Smythe were interviewed for us by Brian Begg.
Five of the Johnson and five of the Smythe. And five of the Johnson first. Tell us exactly what had happened.
When we were flying in a vampire night fighter over Kent and at 20,000 feet, and I first sighted this object. The first sighting was of a tiny pinpoint of bright light. My first impression was that it was a star shining through the overcast, and I looked around to see if there were any more stars, but obviously there weren't. And I continued watching this thing, and for about 15 to 20 seconds it remained stationary, neither moving left or right. After this time, the thing obviously was moving towards us, and before I reached the overhead position, I nudged my navigator, flying off the Smythe, to have a look up. By the time we got to the overhead position, it appeared to be moving at quite a fast, fantastic speed, and my impression of it, more or less a photographic impression, was of a round object, quite distinct outline, still with the same intense light, with the maximum light around or towards the periphery of the circle, not quite so intense in the center. The size, the only thing I can compare it with is the sun or the moon, and I had said that the size was approximately half to three-quarters of the size of the moon. Its height, well, there again, I haven't anything to compare it with.
There's no cloud on that day.
No, there's no cloud at all. The visibility was about 100 miles. From where we were, we could actually see the other side of the Isle of Wight.
And what about its speed?
Well, I can't give any indication of speed, as I can't give a true idea of the height. The only thing is I can say that the impression was of an object very much higher above us, and therefore, depending on height, would depend on the speed, but truly has a very fantastic speed in roughly the opposite direction.
Britain, France, Italy, Scandinavia, and lots of other countries also saw, because it's a worldwide phenomenon, UAP, or lights in the sky. Let's today, just for a minute, dismiss cups and saucers and look at the British and other European countries' results. They then, as we do today, want to understand the observables. How do they work? What do they do? Will that reveal how they function? And Britain's focus, because they knew all about ionization, was all about plasma. Oh, of course I had to say that word, but it's absolutely true. In World War II, Foo Fighters, glowing balls in the sky, not flying saucers, were seen by thousands of young airmen over Europe and a few over the Pacific, Germany and Japan. Oh yeah, there's a connection there. Both had the same radar. Britain knew that, and they knew that continuous wave German-Japanese shared radar can focus to a point and ionize the atmosphere, making a glowing ball in the sky that seems to be under intelligent control, although it is. Mr. German or Japanese radar operator was wiggling his wheel to follow the aircraft. And up in the sky was focused energy that ionized a ball in the atmosphere. Britain knew that, and Britain was scared shitless that the Germans had invented an effective directed energy weapon because they were working on their own at Orford Ness and Bawdsey. The spoils of World War II. Well, we all know the United States Operation Paperclip got people like Werner von Braun. And the spoils of war, Russia, they actually got the missiles, hence their early success at actually launching things into space. The rockets. What's Britain's spoils of war for being that tiny little island that kind of helped win World War II? Well, Britain got two things. First, it got HTP, high test peroxide, which was an oxidizing agent that the Germans had used for their weapon systems, and Britain wanted to use it in their Navy torpedoes. It's rubbish. It's highly reactive with ordinary materials, and hang on a minute. Just stop this film here. Just stop. Look at this. Look at how this Insta360 waterproof camera has fogged up in my pretty dry basement. Insta360 Ace Pro are not what you think they are. Let me take this lens off because I've broken the lens. And there. Look. Insta360, how on earth are you selling a supposed waterproof camera with a UV filter on the front, which lets moisture from me talking in a cold basement actually fog up the effing lens? Now, that was my review of Insta360 Ace Pro camera. Picture's nice and sharp, but it isn't waterproof. I need a nice cup of tea after that. Back to flying saucers. In Britain, they were all plasma, and Britain's gone on to test plasma weapons at Rendlesham Forest. Hey guys, stay tuned for a really, really interesting episode of the Rendlesham Forest incident that James Worrow, John Burrows and myself are currently producing about the anomaly that they really saw in Suffolk in December 1980. If you like these videos, give it a thumbs up to tell YouTube to, and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.